Ned, thank you so much for joining us today. I am really excited to have this time with you.
You're welcome. It's great to be here.
Ned, when you and Sam started D-Light, how was your vision for the company then different than how things have turned out?
Well, when we started the company, the original vision was to impact 100 million people and get them off of kerosene lanterns. And in fact, when we got started, Sam was actually doing Peace Corps, and he was in a village in Benin, and his neighbor's kid was burned in a kerosene fire. And Sam had that experience and realized that it doesn't make sense in the 21st century for almost a quarter of the whole world to be burning kerosene for light. It's a solution nobody likes. It's expensive, it's dangerous, and it's polluting. And there's actually technology available with solar, with LED technology to make that make kerosene obsolete. So the vision that Sam and I had when we started the company was we wanted to get 100 million people off of kerosene. So we set this huge, ambitious goal. We had no idea how we were going to achieve it, but we set that stake in the ground, and we said we're going to do it by 2020. So that's how we got started. And it's taken us a lot of learnings, a lot of mistakes, but actually just this month we've achieved 50 million lives impacted, which is incredible. And now it looks like we're going to achieve the 100 million goal by the end of 2017. So we've moved the goalpost in, and one of the things this is causing us to do is reflect internally about, well, what is that next step? And we feel like we've climbed up this mountain, or we've been scaling this mountain, and we look back and we see how far we've come. But at the same time, we realize we've just reached base camp in a way. This is really just the beginning. And one of the things we hear from our customers now who have been empowered with solar-powered lighting is that really lighting is just the first step, and that's not the end of the road. And we really see energy access like a ladder, where light is step number one, then light and the ability to do some other basic energy activities like charging your phone, that's another rung on the ladder. Then there's solar home systems, that's another rung. And we've really expanded the vision of the company as we've learned from our customers, and as we've started to get that original crazy goal, as that is becoming realistic now, we're starting to realize that we can have a much larger depth of impact for these customers and provide them a much broader array of energy solutions than just light. So really the vision has expanded significantly beyond just lighting, and that's something totally driven by our customers. Where we were just focused on eradicating kerosene lanterns, that's all we talked about the first few years. Now it's really about empowering our customers and giving them energy access, and lighting is just a first step in that process.
Ned, the students in this course have actually read through the Stanford Business School case study on D-Light. Now, that was a few years ago, and two challenges were brought up in that case. The challenges that you faced marketing and handling communications. Can you tell us a little bit about how you resolved those issues?
So once you've built availability of the product through distribution channels, the next step is to figure out how do you draw pull through that channel. So how do you create demand so customers want to buy the product? Because most distribution channels that we work in are channels that can make the product available, but fundamentally, especially as we were getting started, this is a new product category. It's a new technology. It's not something customers are going to come in asking for. And it's not necessarily something that the distributor is going to be actively pushing and promoting because they have other products and other things to do. So marketing is really one of the key things that's our responsibility to do. And there's a couple facets of that. One is marketing for the category, making people understand how the technology works, why this is a good value for money proposition for them. And then the second aspect is marketing our brand and why this is a brand you can trust. This is a brand where there's a warranty, you can bring it back if there's anything wrong. So establishing the D-Light brand in addition to the category. So both of those things were important when we got started. And I think the other factor in here that's not perhaps directly related to marketing is making sure that the affordability is there as well. Because you can market as much as you want and have the distribution, but if the price point is too high, you're not going to get sell-through. So you need all those pieces to come together. And really the type of marketing we would do to drive pull through the channel depends a lot on the channel itself and what kind of marketing is appropriate for that kind of channel. In some places it might be in-village or in-market demonstrations from our people going out to the field, driving demand in that way. And others, it might be incentives that we provide to the dealers themselves to push the product and equipping them with various materials so they can do that. So it really, we've had to tailor things a lot based on the channel and how they're set up. And that's really how we've been able to establish pull. Now, one of the things that's been interesting to see is as the category has matured in certain markets, people actually know what the category is now. They understand what solar lighting is. In Kenya, for example, almost 40% of households own a solar product. And most of those are D-Light products. So 75% of the people who own a solar light product, it's a D-Light product. So roughly a third of off-grid households in Kenya own a D-Light. So it's not as much about explaining what solar is, because actually people, they know what solar is. Now it's really a matter of why this particular product is the right one for you, why D-Light's the right brand for you to believe in. So that marketing shift in attention has changed over time as the category gets more awareness, as word of mouth develops. So there's also different stages of market development where different kinds of marketing make sense.
What's one thing you wish you would have done differently thus far in your journey?
I think one of the things that I would have done differently is realize that this is more of a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I know in the early years of D-Light, I nearly burnt myself out several times. And that wasn't good for myself. It wasn't good for my family. And I was just so dedicated to making D-Light work, working all day on the weekends, not having any time off. And that had negative repercussions in my personal life. And I think that's one of the things that I would advise other entrepreneurs starting out. For us, this has been a 10-year journey, and it's going to continue from here. And really making sure you pace yourself, because this is a long journey, trying to really change the world and make a huge impact. It's not going to happen overnight, and you have to make sure you pace yourself and you don't deplete that energy inside yourself. It's not worth it to work like crazy for a year or two and then totally burn yourself out. So, one of the ways I think about this is we work a lot with batteries in our products, and so I know a lot about battery technology, or I've learned a lot about it over time. And one of the things that batteries can do is if you deplete them to zero, you can actually still suck more energy out of the battery, and you'll get more energy out of it, but you deep discharge it. So you suck energy out, but you fundamentally damage the battery, and then it's hard to recharge it. It doesn't have the same capacity anymore. And I think people are actually a bit similar to batteries in that sense. You can sometimes suck a lot more out than you think is in there, but it has a long-term impact for you, and you need a long time to recover from that. So I think for entrepreneurs, I really recommend you pace yourself, and it's something that I wish I did better in the early years.
Thank you so much, Ned, and thank you to all of you for joining us too. We'll see you next week when we talk about transitions.